Welcome to the WD168. God gives us 168 hours every week to live, love, and serve. This is our take on this 168 from the Western Diocese. Exactly 1 year. Officially, the pandemic is now 1 year old. And under any other condition, it would take years, even decades, to have life change the way it has so dramatically over this past year. The pandemic, more than a virus that has affected our physical body, has greatly affected us spiritually, psychologically, emotionally. So what do you get when Armenians are kept away from something so dear and so valuable as their faith? You get reclaim. You reclaim it. And that's what we did last weekend at the Western Diocese and throughout the world. Reclaiming faith in a post-pandemic world. This is the fifth incarnation of the Reclaim Conference, which kicked off back in 2017 as a means of highlighting the sacred and important work of the Church. True to its form, people came from all over to listen to speakers and participate in the discussion roundtables about issues of faith, about faith in action, about faith making it real here in Armenia, wherever there is a need. But this Reclaim went virtual with all activities taking place online. Could it be done? Well, ask any one of the 200 people from 5 different countries who participated this year. Yes, that's right. Computers, tablets, smartphones were tuned into this conference featuring 3 speakers, including Dr. Hiraç Çilingirian of London, who spoke about entering into the womb of the earth. What? Isn't this about the pandemic? Exactly. People are dying worldwide in the millions. And taking a phrase from the prayers of the Armenian Church, entering into the womb of the earth, Dr. Çilingirian took a theological reflection on death and life, dwelling into the human factors of loss and separation. Faith in post-pandemic times indeed. It was a way of finding the God voice in the midst of human troubles. His Eminence Archbishop Hovnan addressed the gathering on the theme of reclaiming identity. He shared personal reflections of his life leading the diocese and the Armenian Church during the pandemic, the challenges and the means of overcoming those challenges with discipline and with faith. This became the perfect segue into an afternoon of panel discussions. Youth of the Armenian Church, ages 20 to 35, were in these discussions, and they shined like the faith they were expounding. One of the panels focused on faith in action as a response to the huge humanitarian problem facing Armenia in the aftermath of the war. Moderated by Diran Avakian, who heads the humanitarian aids on behalf of the Western Diocese, these young, energetic, professional young men and women spoke about a clear course of action based on Christian principles of faith, hope, and love. Audience members were in awe of the way in which these young people articulated themselves. On a personal note, it was refreshing to see the young people not considered, the cliche future of the church, but treated as the living church today. Sarpazan mentioned in his remarks to the youth that they were taking their faith so seriously that Christianity for our youth, he said, is not a philosophy, but a way of life. The panels were made up of deacons, lawyers, physicians, healthcare professionals, mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, engineers, salespeople, and students. Reclaim, living up to its goal, reclaimed a faith in the age of pandemic. One of our guests from Ohio, Deacon Ari Terjanian, said from his heart, "The love that I sense in this community is inspiring. I take away hope for our church." Reclaim is organized by the Western Diocese and Issues Ministries and the participation of Deacons Council, and Bridging Generations. All of the speeches and panel discussions have been archived and are available to you at our Diocesan YouTube channel or on the Reclaim Facebook page. Check them out. They are there for you and for your families. Yes, we are in the Lenten season. Actually, we hit the midpoint called MICHINK this week. At Sir Vazken's instruction, the priests of our diocese got together on a late-night Zoom session, sharing prayers, scriptures, and inspiration together. To use Sir Vazken's words, it's not a philosophy, it's a way of life. For the kids, for the priests, for all of us. Actually, once you get down to the Western Diocese, whether you're at St. Leon Cathedral or at any one of the many churches, you start finding a living faith in action and prayers. Take advantage of the Lenten season and get plugged in to a living tradition. That does it for this 168. Make sure to check with our social media pages to find out all that is happening, because there's so much that is happening, and share, but time doesn't allow it. And speaking of time, don't forget to spring forward with your clocks. 1 hour this Sunday, or you'll be late for church. So that does it for our 168. We look forward to seeing you in church on time and with your masks, or online, or again next week as we look at that 168 from the WD.